And good day, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing fantastic. Mr. Lopez, your science teacher, here again with another unit. This one is called Traits in Reproduction. I can't wait to get started on this. It should be fun and exciting, and hope that you have very curious mindset, so that this will open up your eyes to the uh, process of uh, learning about what is going on inside of uh, a spider. We're going to be talking about a spider, and we're going to be learning about what is the molecular structure of a spider, and how do we benefit from it scientifically to help in our longevity. So let's move on to the next slide. So today our unit begins, and it is called Traits in Reproduction. What do you know about that? Here we go. People may say that you have your mother's eyes, or that you look like your sister. Even though you may have some traits in common, you are also very different, even from your relatives. So in this unit, we're going to learn what determines an organism's traits, and why organisms can be similar or different within a family. So here's the unit question. Why do traits vary? And why do they vary even between parents and offspring, and among siblings? So we're going to be talking, and I highlighted those three words, those three very important words. When we think of offspring, we think of babies, and siblings would be your brother or your sister. How many siblings do you have in your family? I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, so it's a total of 4 siblings that I have. And we're going to now watch a video about a scientist who is researching traits in spiders, and she's interested in the different kinds of spider silk. And we're going to focus on these traits throughout the unit. So let's take a look at the video and think about this question. All of you love Spider-Man. Why are scientists interested in spider silk? Why would spider silk be important for us humans? And the video should have popped up. There it is. Here we go.
There are over 40,000 described species of spiders, and each species makes at least one type of silk. Most species make multiple types of silk, so for any application you can think of, there's probably a spider silk that's just perfect for it. I'm Dr. Cheryl Hayashi. I'm a spider silk biologist. I study the properties of spider silk and the genes for silk. Spider silk has amazing properties, and you can see this when you just go out and look at a spider web in nature. So imagine a spider web that's so thin it's nearly invisible. And you have an insect, a flying insect, comes flying into the web. When the insect hits the web stretches, it extends, and it's able to absorb the impact of that flying insect. And this flexibility is really important when it comes to catching flying prey. In my laboratory, what we do is first we go out and we collect live spiders. We bring the spiders back to the lab. We try to keep them as happy and healthy as possible. And we collect silk fibers from them. And then we carefully measure the properties of the fibers. We try to answer questions such as, which spider has the strongest silk? Which spider has the most flexible or stretchiest silk? which spider has the toughest silk. And we use this information so we can compare different spiders and different silk types to each other. We also characterize the genes for these silks. With these properties, spider silk can be used in a variety of applications. So for example, it could be used as an artificial tendon to make people healthier. This is a very exciting time to be a spider silk biologist. Advances in technology are now to the point that we're much better able to take the lessons that we learn about spiders and spider silks and translate them into applications that will help people and the environment. The opportunities are endless.
Okay, folks. And we're not going to watch that again. We're okay. So let's move on to the next slide. In this unit, we will do work that is like the scientist that you saw in the video. We're going to name this new company that we work for, Bay Medical Company. And we will be student genetic researchers, where we're going to be researching spider silk along with the rest of the team. And we're going to have our focus on Darwin's bark spiders. So I'm going to really want you to learn as much as you can about that type of spider. And we're going to read a memo that we're going to read out loud. And this is to us. We are the student researchers from the lead scientist at Bay Medical Company. And it reads, I lead the spider silk research team, a group of genetic researchers that are working on medical treatments that use silk from Darwin's bark spider, a newly discovered spider species. These spiders produce very strong silk. We want to see if their silk can be used to make tendons and stitches for humans. For this to work, the silk must be both strong and flexible. A medium level of flexibility is optimum. Unfortunately, we have discovered that not all Darwin's bark spiders are the same. Some spiders, even those in the same family, make more flexible silk than others. As student researchers, we're going to work to explain why traits such as flexibility can vary within a family of Darwin's bark spiders. Darwin's bark spiders, they are real. You can Google them and you can find out more about them. You can Google them, maybe even YouTube Darwin's bark spiders and find out more on your own, or look in the back of your book, which is something that I have not talked about, which is this book here, Traits in Reproduction. This is the new book that we will be using in class. And the subtitle is The Genetics of Spider Silk. And if you go to the back, I always encourage you, whenever you have time, whenever you have free time, and you are bored and you're not sure what to do, don't say, oh no, I have to read, want to read. Okay, there's the first article. It's called Surprising Spider Silk. And you're going to want to read that first, and so that we can all read it together. In this lesson, we'll talk with a partner. We'll just skip that slide, and here we go. So this is the family tree right here. This is the spider family that we're going to be investigating. What do you notice about the differences in silk flexibility, traits among the spider family? So here we have a male and a female, and they produce offspring. They're babies. And they have, the male has low flexibility. The female has medium flexibility. And they produce babies, and they all have different flexibility traits. Some have high, right? Some have low. Some have medium. And we'll talk about these three. You probably noticed that the spiders have different traits for silk flexibility, even though they are in the same family. So in this unit, we're going to investigate why. One feature we're going to be investigating is silk flexibility. And one of our vocabulary words, which is right back here, is feature. Okay, and something that Mr. Lopez didn't go over was the chapter 1 question, which is right there. Why do traits for silk flexibility vary within this family of Darwin spark spiders? And we have our unit question as well. And a feature is a characteristic that all members of a species have. So if you look at this here, you'll notice we have hair, we have a forehead, and those are all features of a human. 2 eyes, a mouth, lips, nose, ears, 2 sets of eyelashes, 2 eyelids, right? So those are all considered features. And we also have traits, which is a specific characteristic of an individual organism, like our eyes. Some people have brown eyes, some people have blue eyes. That is a trait. And for spiders, it would be high flexibility, low flexibility, medium flexibility. And also keep in mind that every word, if you get confused, if you're not sure, go to the back of the glossary and you'll be able to find what that word means. Or you can Google it and then click on images, and then maybe that'll give you a good visual as to what that is about. Okay, eye color is a feature. People have different traits for eye color. For example, they could have blue, brown, or green eyes. That would be their trait. The eye color would be, the eye would be the feature, and the colors would be the traits. What colors do you have? Maybe we should share that. Body color is an example of a feature in the species of spiders. So an example of a body color would be a body color trait would be a brown spider and a yellow spider. This is an example of a trait. The feature would be body color. And silk flexibility is also a feature. All of the Darwin spark spiders have this feature. But some spiders make silk that is more flexible than other spiders' silk. So we're focusing on silk, and so we're going to be focusing on high, medium, and low silk flexibility, which are the traits for the silk flexibility feature. What are some traits you have that are different from your friends and family members? So we're going to turn to page 6. There it is in red, our first page. We're going to turn to page 6, and we're going to find a warm-up. And you're going to agree with the statement. If you agree, you write agree. If you disagree with the statement, you write disagree. Then explain your choice for the first statement. So We can do the first one together. It says, each person in a family has the same traits. There are no differences in traits between parents and offspring or among siblings. Do you agree or disagree with that? Remember, traits would be eye color, color hair, whether you have curly hair or wavy hair or straight hair, um, even maybe the size of your ears, long ears, short ears, uh, the shape of your eyes, oval, almond. So I would disagree with number one. I would say that we all have different traits. So what do you think? Let's go on to, so complete page 6, and then we're going to move on to the next question. And this is the chapter question, very important. It's up on the board. Why do traits for silk flexibility vary within the family of Darwin bark spiders? The keywords there are traits for flexibility. Why are they different? It's almost like asking, why does, my sister have curly hair and I have straight hair? Or why is my brother tall and I'm short? Good questions, right? Darwin's, this is the family tree again, and the question is, why do traits for silk flexibility vary within the family of Darwin's bark spiders? So we have a variety of different traits. We have high, low, medium, and low, which vary within the 4 spiders that you see here of offspring. So we're going to need to make a claim, and these are the claims about why the trait for silk flexibility varies within the spider family. And as you know already, you've played this game before, and what you want to do is figure out which claim is right and debunk a claim. And you know that for every claim, you need to have evidence. And if you find enough evidence, then you can prove that claim. If you don't have any evidence, then you cancel that claim and you move on until you find the reasoning. So why do traits for silk flexibility vary within this family of Darwin's bark spiders? So here we have 3 reasons why there are different traits. Why are there spiders that have different silk flexibilities, high, medium, low? Claim 1, the offspring have mutations that affect their traits. Claim 2, the offspring's traits depend on which parent the offspring received more traits from. Or claim 3, the offspring receive different combinations of traits from their parents. So we're going to revisit that and come back, and then we will test it out and find out if that claim has enough evidence. Throughout the unit, we're going to be using the simulation. So there's a really cool simulation that you want to play with and that you want to keep playing with and find out more about. And I want you to just dive in there and press buttons and try and just play around with it and see what you find. See what you find to be important and valuable. And we're going to be clicking on that simulation and we're going to be walking through and it will be answering a lot of questions that we have about spiders and spider silk. And here's a video on how to use it.
This is the Traits and Reproduction Sim. You'll use it to learn more about variation in the traits of spiders. At the top is the Feature menu bar. This lets you examine different features for the spiders. After selecting a feature, you'll see the traits for that feature under each spider's name. Press on a spider to see more details about that spider's traits. Once you've chosen a spider, you can use the feature menu bar to explore other features of this spider. The name and sex of each spider is included above the image of the spider. The trait for the selected feature is written below the spider's name. Under the spider, you'll see a group of cells. Here's a zoomed-in view of one of the cells showing the protein molecules inside. Press Protein to Trait Example in the bottom left corner to further investigate how proteins and traits are related. Although this model is different from real life, it's accurate in many ways to help you observe and compare proteins and traits.
Okay, folks. And there it goes playing again.
This is the
No.
Traits and Reproduction Sim.
Don't play.
This
Okay. All right, so next we're going to make observations of spiders from the sim, and then we're going to record these similarities and differences. We're going to find what's the same and what's different about these traits in spiders. So we should have probably kept that slide open a little bit longer, but I'll probably pause it in the video. You probably noticed that all of the spiders are not the same. Some were different colors. Some had bigger or smaller bodies. Some had more or less bristle, meaning hair on their bodies. We know that humans can have different traits, but it can be more challenging to see these differences in other species, such as spiders. Variation. So just like humans, spiders have variation. Any difference in traits between individual organisms would be an example of variation. And today we're going to investigate this question, what determines an organism's traits at the molecular scale? So we're going to look at an organism's traits and see what it looks like, see what's going on inside of a spider at a microscopic level, at a level that you would need a microscope. You would need a microscope to look in and see what is going on in their bodies. In the previous lesson, we observed physical models to examine different protein molecules with different structures that might connect to form more flexible or less flexible spider silk. So we have 3 different types of proteins, and we're going to need page 14 and 15. So we're going to grab page 14 and 15. And on page 14, it asks you there to draw protein 1, protein 2, and protein 3. 3 different types of protein molecules that spiders make. And this would be protein 3 that I'm holding, just a stick, a red stick. And this would be protein number 2. It has a yellow piece on it. It's a red stick with a yellow piece on it. So this would be a protein. So I guess maybe you might be thinking at this point, proteins, there are different types of proteins. Yes, there are. And there are 3 that we're talking about here now. So this is 2. And this one has 2 yellow pieces on it. And it would be, we're going to call this protein number 1. Okay. So you can go ahead and draw those on page 14. And then we will do that activity on 14 and 15, where we're comparing the flexibility of the protein strands. I'm probably going to want to Make this bigger. Yes. All right. It's happening. Great. So we have protein 3, protein 2, protein 1. If we were to take this protein and we were to try and build silk, and I were to take these and I were to try and build silk for a spider web, would it work? No, it wouldn't. Okay, I'll leave those and I'll pick them up later. And that would be, and that's the protein molecule number 3. This is protein number 2. And protein number 2 has one yellow piece on it. And if I were to say, take a yellow piece and hook it up with another yellow piece, and hook these two up together, then I could continue to build, right, the silk. And I could do that with protein 2. And would I be able to do that with protein 3? So I'll hook this together. These are not very easy to put in. There you go. Plug that in. Plug that in. There we go. Now, which one do you think is going to be more flexible? More flexible. For instance, this straw right here. This straw right here, is it flexible? Yeah, it is. Look at that. Look how it bends. It's very flexible, right? Flexible straw. This spoon. Is this spoon flexible? No. Spoon is not flexible. It's not as flexible as the straw. So that was a Sunday. So I made 8 strands of protein 2 and protein 1 right here. And should be 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, the question is, which one is more flexible? The protein molecule number 2, you see how it's kind of flopping back and forth? Or protein molecule number 1? Which of these two is more flexible? It's a good question. It's a good question. And we saw in the video, the scientist was talking about, she was talking about spider silk and how some spider silk is the strongest. How they are always looking for spiders with silk that are the stretchiest, and or contain the most amount of flexibility. So hopefully you'll be able to answer question 15. And let me make myself smaller again. Now I'm out of the screen. Okay. So in this lesson, we will observe the structures of protein molecules in the sim, and we're going to build on what we're going to learn. And here's another video. And all of these videos show you how to play with the simulation.
Let's review how to use the Traits and Reproduction sim to compare protein molecules of two spiders with different traits. Press on a spider to view its cells. Let's choose the spider named Zora. Select a feature from the menu bar at the top of the screen. Under the spider's name, you'll see the trait for the selected feature. Here it says dense for the bristle feature. Let's look inside one of Zora's bristle-producing cells to observe the protein molecules. Zora has protein 1 for the bristle feature. These molecules are the right shape to connect with the dark purple protein molecules already in the cell. Now, let's compare Zora's bristle trait and proteins with Greg's. Greg's bristle trait says none. This means that Greg has no bristles. Let's look at the proteins in his bristle-producing cells. Inside the cell, Greg has protein 2 for the bristles feature. There are many protein molecules with this shape floating in the cell. These proteins do not connect to the dark purple molecules.
Okay.
Let's review how.
So remember that pressing the protein to trait example on the bottom left side of the screen shows more about how the protein determines traits for the feature. We're going to read the next slides to see the protein to trait example for bristle. And so here's an example of a bristle, or if we want to look at it like it's hair that comes out of a spider. We see here that we have the nucleus. We all know that the nucleus is the brain of the cell, right? And we have these proteins, and they're trying to connect together. And the more connect together, the more bristle the spider will have. And we have one connected here. I don't know if you see that very well. I'll show it to you here. You see that connection? Okay. Do you see any other connection? No, no, nope. This is the reason why you have at least this amount of bristle. If these were connected, if these were connected the same way that I showed you with the strands that I was building, the more that connect, the more bristle you have, the more bristle density. And here, do you see it already? I hope you see it. You see they're connected, they're connected, they're connected, they're connected. We have more bristle, right? Because they're connected. All right. So zooming out even further, you can see that many bristles are being produced by different groups of cells. And Zora has a lot of bristles because her protein molecules could connect to the other protein molecules. Greg, unfortunately, has no bristles because his protein molecules could not connect to other proteins. So we're going to go to page 18, folks. I'm going to place protein molecule number 1 over here for the next class. Hopefully I won't poke my eye out with these. And then protein molecule number 2. And protein molecule number 3, I cannot hang. Yeah. Okay. All right. How do I get a smaller? How do I make myself smaller? You can do it, Mr. Lopez. There you go. There you go. Go tiny. Tiny, tiny. How do different protein molecules lead to different traits for silk flexibility? The structure of the protein molecule determines how they connect. Protein molecules that make more connections form a less flexible spider silk. So as you can see with this one here, right, it's not as flexible, but it is stronger. Not as flexible, but it is stronger. So you have to find that middle area. And on page 19, folks, you will be looking at working with a partner and selecting a feature, and then finding 3 spiders with different traits and for the feature, and then you will be observing the spiders and looking at their traits and also looking at their protein molecule structure. This is a molecule structure. More importantly, a protein molecule structure. So why do you think different protein molecules lead to variation in the features we observed? This is a key concept, very important. Differences, and say it over and over again if you need to make it stick. Differences in the structure, when you think of structure, you think of a build, like a house. A house is the structure of a house, the structure of a car, the structure of your body. Okay, it's how something is formed. Of protein molecules affects how they connect to other protein molecules. This can result in different traits. The structure of molecules determines how they function at a molecular scale, which determines the properties of the object they make up. And remember, organisms can have different proteins in their cells for a particular feature. And now let's review some concepts. And here are the different concepts that we have talked about, such as feature. Remember when we look at feature? Hair, forehead, 2 eyes, a mouth, a nose, 2 ears, a chin, teeth. Those are all features. When we think of traits, we think of eye color, brown eyes, blue eyes, red eyes. Think about hair, thick hair, curly hair, straight hair. Okay, and let's move on. The genetic researchers at Bay Medical Company have determined the proteins of each spider offspring. We're going to use this information to explain why the traits for silk flexibility vary within this family. Let's move on to the next slide. And here we have page 24. Page 24. You should have your books with you guys. Page 24 The question is, why do you think offspring B has the medium silk flexibility trait? That's the question that we're asking, and it's different than what's there, but we're going to answer that question. We're looking at offspring B. Offspring B is a female. Offspring B has medium silk flexibility. Where did offspring B get her medium silk flexibility? From mom, maybe? Okay. Let's move on. Do we have enough evidence to support the or eliminate any of the claims? So we've talked about this, and remember, we're focusing on 3 claims. Why do traits for silk flexibility vary within this family of Darwin bark spiders? So there are the 3 claims. Mr. Lopez will go over those 3 claims, and it's your job to try and figure out which of the claims is correct. So we're going to determine an organism's traits at the molecular scale. Say that correctly, Mr. Lopez. Molecular. Everyone say molecular. That's just looking at these proteins together inside of the spider, forming silk, or forming color, or forming hair. Okay, and figuring out what's going on in there. To understand the organism's traits, we have to look at a molecular scale, meaning that the size of the molecules. Remember, molecules are the tiny structures that make up cells. So tiny, we cannot see them with the naked eye. We need a microscope to see. And we're going to, we want more information. We need to gather more information. And in order to do that, we're going to be reading an article. It is going to broaden our understanding. And what we're going to be doing is looking at different silks for different functions. There are some spiders that use silk and they have poisonous venom inside of, in their silk that is dangerous, that they use to catch prey. Some of them use cobwebs. Some of them use it to fly around. They throw the silk up on a windy day and they fly around. And some of them try to get from one point to another point. Chapter 1, and so we're going to be reading and annotating this. That's very important. Let's go find it, guys. So we're going to look back here, and we're going to find it, and there it is. It's A1. We're going to read this together, and we're going to go to A1. And this article talks about how spiders come in different shapes and sizes. They're all made of spider silk. And there's page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, and A6. So this goes all the way to A6. We're going to read it together. We're going to annotate it. We're going to discuss it. And the protein molecules that make up the spider silk allow the spiders to do many different behaviors that can increase the odds of survival and reproduction. Those are the 2 things that spiders are doing. They want to reproduce, make more offspring, and also survive, catch prey, move, protect their young, their eggs. And there's many different types of proteins. A type of large molecule is a protein molecule that performs important functions inside organisms. And this is a really good picture. It shows a spider web, and this is a silk. And what is going on inside of that silk? What is it made of? What are the different parts? And as you see here, hopefully you can see that. It says protein structure. We just talked about 3 different types, right? Which type is forming here? And also, don't forget the molecular structure, the atomic molecules that are in there. That's important. There are proteins that help reactions occur inside cells. Other proteins store nutrients to help move molecules. So proteins don't just make silk, but they store nutrients. They play a very important role in keeping an organism alive. We have protein in our bodies, and it helps us to stay alive. Whoa, and I just missed a very interesting, yeah, this is the model of a protein. This is what a real model looks, a real protein uh, molecule looks like inside the body of a spider. It doesn't look like this. It looks like that. So we should have read about the different types of silk that different spiders can make. Now we're going to use a model to learn how protein molecules determine silk flexibility in Darwin's bark spiders. And the question is, what determines an organism's traits at the molecular scale? Protein molecules, and hopefully you've seen this, are too small to observe directly. Scientists use models to represent things on molecular scale which are difficult to observe. So in the sim, we saw this model of protein molecules, and the protein molecules are these little guys right here. They look like cones. These are all protein molecules. So we're going to watch a video that shows a physical model of protein molecules. They're basically going to show you what I've shown you. Excuse me. Or, yeah. So as you watch the video, think about the structure of the protein molecules. What is that structure of? It's the structure of a house, right? The way something is shaped or constructed would be the structure. In science, we describe the structure of an object. We describe its shape. For example, this wheel has a circular structure. A circle. These are the protein molecules that you will see in the video. The person in the video will try to connect the protein molecules of the same type to make a strand that represents the spider silk. Think about this question. Which of these protein molecules do you think will form the most flexible strand when connected?
In this video, you will observe the hands-on activity from activity 3 called Building Physical Models of Proteins from Traits and Reproduction, lesson 1.3. In this first part, you will observe the teacher building the example protein molecules from the 3 models.
Now the teacher has built each of the 3 protein molecules. She will connect the protein molecules together to form a strand. In this next video clip, you will observe the teacher testing each protein molecule strand for flexibility.
Okay, so which one do you think was more impressive? That one or Mr. Lopez's? Let me get back on screen here. So we have 1, 2, and 3. 3 is just the strands. Okay. And 2 has 1 yellow. I think mine is cooler. I gotta just say mine. I think mine is cooler. It has 1 yellow piece, right? Look how much flux. Oh God. Okay. Well, it didn't have that much flexibility, but you saw that, right? There goes that one too. Pretty flexible. Pretty flexible. Flexibility on this one, not as much. I think this would break, but this probably has the least amount of flexibility. Okay, the one that just broke off, that one has the most amount of flexibility. And this one's just a lot more rigid. Okay. It wasn't supposed to break, but it did.
In this video, you will observe the hands-on activity from
We're not going to observe that. No, we're not. Thank you. All right, let's move on. Function. How something works. You know, family. What is the function of a family? You know, it's supposed to protect you, right? A family's supposed to protect you. That's the function of a family. It's supposed to be fun because, you know, you're supposed to interact with each other and you're supposed to take care of each other and grow. So, you know, think about that. Think about the function of your family. What is the function of spider silk? Why does a spider need to produce a spider web? Okay, so what did you notice about the function of the protein molecules in the model? Please don't say that they just broke off. Hopefully you learned about flexibility and how flexible one protein molecule is over another. And do they all serve the same function? So what would a spider use a more flexible silk for, or a more rigid, stronger silk? Why would a spider use a stronger silk for? In the model, the protein's shape affected how it connected with other proteins, making the strands more or less flexible. One protein structure connected in multiple places, forming a silk strand with low flexibility. So the stronger one, which I have here, this one has less flexibility, right? The ones that broke off would be much more flexible. These would be a lot more flexible. But as you can see, they're also very delicate, just like the straw. And we learned a very important concept. The function of a protein molecule depends on its structure and how it interacts with other protein molecules. And that is all, folks. You guys did awesome. You guys did great. That was the end of our first lesson. I hope it wasn't that painful. And in chapter 2, we're going to dive more into a spider's features and what they use silk for. Okay, and how it can help us, and how it can um, help people and the environment. All right, you guys have a good one. Take care. See you at the next one. Bye.